Hello everybody and welcome back to Mr. Marlowe's 6th grade online math class. Today we're going to be looking at Module 6, Lesson 10, and that is titled Using the Mean, Range, and MAD to Answer a Real-Life Question. Our targets for today are I can find the mean, range, and mean absolute deviation, or MAD, of a data set and explain what they tell me about the data. And I can find the median of the data and compare it to the mean. We have some vocabulary to go over today. Maximum, which is the highest value. Minimum, which is the lowest value. We have mean. Remember, that means the average of a set of numbers, the equal share or balance point. The mean absolute deviation, which is the average distance points in a data set lie from the mean. The range, which is the difference between the maximum and the minimum values. Remember, difference should jump out to you and mean subtraction. And then lastly, this new word median, the middle number of the data when data is arranged from least to greatest interval, a set of numbers or the distance between two numbers on a histogram. Okay, we're going to go over what all of this means. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of review to help us get caught up, and because this lesson is sort of like a it sort of collects everything that we've done so far, and it's sort of like almost like a review. So which of these questions is a statistical question? How tall are second graders? Or how tall is Maria, who is in second grade? So I want you to pause the video and think about that for a second. All right, I'm assuming that you've given it a go. And let's take a look at number 2 first. Well, how tall is Maria in second grade? Is that a statistical question? Did I need to collect one piece of data to answer this question, or did I need to collect multiple pieces of data? Well, Maria is just one person, presumably, right? So that would just be one piece of data. So that's not a statistical question. How tall are second graders? Like all second graders? Well, that would be a question that would have to be answered by collecting multiple pieces of data. Okay, so that indeed would be a statistical question. So let's take a look at these two, and we're going to figure out both of these. Are the answers to these statistical questions numerical or categorical? So we need to decide whether each of these is a numerical question or a categorical question. What school breakfast is most preferred by DCS students? Now remember, numerical is going to be a question that involves a number. You can remember that by this prefix, right? So, what school breakfast is most preferred by DCS students? Well, that would be something like egg sandwich, pancakes, cereal, right? So that's not a number, that's a category. Okay, so this would be a categorical question. Another example of a categorical question would be, what is the favorite color of DCS students? Or what's the favorite video game of DCS students, right? What's the favorite sport played by DCS students? Let's take a look at question number 2. How many sit-ups can 6th graders do? Is that numerical or categorical? Well, if we're talking about how many, right, that should be a hint that we're talking about a number. And since we're talking about how many sit-ups a 6th grader can do, we could say that that is numerical. Okay. Another example of a numerical question might be, how many homework assignments do 6th graders complete per week? How many miles can a 6th grader run? How many hours a day does a 6th grader play video games? Those would be numerical questions because they can be answered with a number. Okay? So here we have a dot plot, and the question is asking us, where is the middle? Okay, so where is the center? So where would you say the center of this data distribution is? All right, how could we find that? Well, one thing we could do is we could take the mean of all of these dots and see what it tells us, and hopefully that'll tell us the center. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll put a little comma there, sorry. And I have 1, 2, and I have 2 4s, 1 6, and 1 9. How do I find the mean or the average? Well, remember, first I add up all these numbers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 11, 15, 21, 30. And then I take that result and I divide that result by the number of data points that I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 30 divided by 10 is 3. So I know the center of my data is going to be right around here. Even though there's no dot there, I know that the center of my data is right around 3. What is the range of this data? Well, remember, the range is the difference between the highest dot and the lowest. Okay, so where's that the highest, or I guess I should say the maximum, right, is 9, and the minimum is 1. So I want to find the difference between those two numbers, and the difference is 8. Lastly, if the MAD is 2.2, what does that mean about the data? What it means is, on average, the points are 2.2 units away from the mean, or 3. Okay? Looking at the dot plot, do you think the data is spread out a lot or a little? Okay? To me, I would say that this data looks pretty spread out. All right? The MAD of 2.2 is more than 1/4 of the whole range of 8. Okay? So remember, the MAD is 2.2. So if my range is 8, the range is the distance between these two numbers. And the MAD is, I mean, you can think about it from like 1 to 3. It's just a little bit more, right? And that's the average distance away from the mean. That's pretty spread out. So here are some dot plots, okay, about McDonald's fries and Burger King fries. The blue line is the mean, and the red line is the median. All right. So what do you notice about the spread and variability about the data? What do you notice about the mean and the median? When the data is symmetrical, the mean and the median are close together. When the data is skewed to one side, the median and the mean are farther apart. So let's take a look at that, right? This top one of the McDonald's fries, right? The median and the mean, or the dot plot, I'm sorry, is rather symmetrical. So the median and the mean, right, are pretty close together. But this bottom graph, notice it, remember we talked about the tail, right? So this one is kind of skewed to the left, right? If it's skewed in any direction, notice the mean and the median are farther apart. So, wrapping it up for today, the mean and the median help describe a data set. When a dot plot is symmetrical, the mean and the median are close together. When a dot plot is skewed right or left, the mean and the median are farther apart. That's it for today. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. I will be here to answer them. Have a great day. Again, you have 2 assignments on Khan Academy. Get those finished up, and I'll talk to you soon.